This is KUGAN CASSIUS Fry from London at the Grosvenor House Hotel here in London. A little meet up with Lennox Lewis and some other stars, including this man on camera now, Dixon. You're a bit of a star, aren't you? You are, Tris, aren't you?
Nothing like you, Cougs.
Well, you know.
You don't even know what to say to that, do you?
Don't say to that. Let's just quickly touch on Anthony Joshua's professional debut Saturday. Was it what happened expected to happen?
Yeah, very expected, and I think there'll probably be another half dozen nights like that. You know, it's a serious business where you've got to carefully match Olympic champions. You know, because you want them to get to the top, and to do that, they've got to learn the trade on the way through. You know, when you go back through heavyweight history, as people often do during these times, you look at the Hector Mercedes, the Tani Hansakas, the Al Malcolms, and you compare them and you contrast them, and ultimately it's just about the transition from the amateurs to the pros and trying to make it as smooth as possible. The difference, I think, between Joshua and some of the professionals who went before him, some of the professional champions, is that many of them had far more amateur experience than Anthony, and so his learning curve might have to be a little bit sharper than theirs, which is unfortunate for him. But this is an era of fast results, social media, and where people expect overnight success. I think more so than in previous eras.
Yeah. All right, jumping away from that, there's like a bit of a love triangle going on between Floyd, Amir, and Devon. What's going on? That's a good way of putting it, isn't it? No one really knows what's going on apart from the respective camps and promoters, etc. What do you think will happen between now and May the 3rd?
What I think will happen, and this is only what I think, because obviously we've been told by Khan's people via a statement that he's still in camp for a fight with Devon Alexander in December. My gut feeling is that Amir will fight before May the 3rd. I'm not convinced it will be Devon Alexander as things stand. I know that fight's not, I believe it's not signed, nor has it ever been signed. And also I think if Khan is to fight Floyd Mayweather on May the 3rd, then he'd need to fight before that. A, to get his name back out there, because and B, to shed some rust, because if he goes straight into the May 3rd fight without taking a warm-up, then he would have been out of the ring for 13 months.
Okay, where does Danny Garcia fit into this?
I think Danny's probably the most worthy opponent out there for Mayweather. He's the guy who's always written off and has now beaten Amir Khan, obviously, and he's beaten Lucas Matisse, who not many expected he'd beat. And I think Danny could be overlooked. I mean, maybe they'll try and make that fight bigger down the line. Maybe give Danny another couple of assignments on big bills to try and build that brand. But for me, I think that the appeal of a Danny Garcia fight with Mayweather is in the All Access shows. I think when you get the Mayweathers and the Garcias together and watch everything unfold with the likes of Floyd Senior and the likes of Angel Garcia together, I think that would make interesting TV, should we say. A bit like your videos.
Absolutely. 4 opponents left for Floyd, obviously. So if we say we took Garcia and Khan as 2 of the 4, then we're left with a potential fight with Pacquiao chucked into the mix, depending on how Pacquiao performs against Rios.
Yeah, I think you can still float that name. I still think you can float Devon Alexander's name as a possible opponent. Matisse, they could bring him back because, you know, out of those guys that you've mentioned, there's not one really concussive hitter. So, and I think at this stage of the game, rather than looking for massive name opponents, they're going to be looking to sell fights based on different styles and different types of opponent. So with Khan, you've got the speed. With Matisse, you'll have the power. With Garcia, you'll have the guy who can sort of tick a lot of boxes. So excuse you. So yeah, I think you can factor Matisse into the mix. The big one for me, I think, is when Khan gets to 49-0 and he's a free agent, is he can negotiate fight number 50 on his own terms. And as I mentioned in the magazine the other day, I think the massive fight there, further 50-0 legacy to get past Rocky Marciano's record and to break pay-per-view records would be Mayweather-Broner.
Okay. Did you just say Khan?
Did I say Khan?
You meant Floyd?
Floyd.
Okay. Otherwise, you just get loads of idiots commenting, going, "What's he going on about?"
Yeah,
You know,
I get that most of the time. No, I think 50-0, the Floyd Broner would be massive, and I think that would break records, big records.
Okay. Finally, Hay versus Fury. Disappointed, obviously, but now.
Yeah, really disappointed. Not least because we had to redo 20 pages of the magazine first thing on a Monday morning. So yeah, really disappointed. I think everyone was looking forward to it. And the way the rotors worked from the office, I was going to go to that fight, and then the others were going to go to the O2. So I missed out on Manchester, and then missed out on the O2 as well. So it's the way things worked out. But yeah, I mean, I think it will still come. I mean, there's all this stuff about whether David was ducking it and stuff. I mean, the fight's a £5 million fight, whether it's for David, whether it's in September, October, November, December, January or February. So I think the money's still the same. I don't think he'll duck £5 million for anybody. And I think the fight will go on. I mean, it's disappointing it hasn't happened. I mean, obviously we've got a great run out of fights, starting with Marquez and getting everything right. Getting me in a tiz. We've got Bradley and Marquez this weekend, and obviously we've got Groves, Froch coming up. There's a slew of big fights coming up now in the run up to Christmas. And I think Fury, Hay would have kick-started that quite nicely for us. But without that, there's still a cracking run up of fights, so plenty to look forward to.
Well, we've got another 4 months of verbals and...
Do you know what though? I thought it was all a bit disappointing the last time. They did their respective press stuff, and then David went into lockdown in camp, Tyson went to Belgium, and there wasn't much to and fro.
I
it
see
sort
what
of
you're
almost went off the radar, I think, for a couple of months, and then they were obviously going to rely on a big push on fight week, and I'm not sure it was really...
Yeah.
I'm not sure it was even as big as it should have been. So 4 months won't harm it, as long as they don't just vanish into thin air and don't start building it again. Because it seemed to be they announced the fight and it was big, and then they all vanished and it was out of the limelight.
No, I agree with that.
Until the cut happened. No, sorry, I cut you off there. I know you were going to cut me off, so I saw it.
No, I'm not going to cut you off, but I know time is money.
But then when the cut happened, obviously it all came back out into the media again, which was unfortunate because we obviously always want a positive light on boxing, which is often quite hard to find. But that's the way things work out some of the time, most of the time.
All right, Tris Dixon, editor of Boxing News. Thank you for talking to I from London.
Thanks, Stu.
Don't know what you're doing there because you've done your bit with Lennox, so just floating about.
Back to the office, podcast this afternoon. We've got Ashley Theophane coming into the office to help us out with a podcast, and we're actually working on. Actually, I can get a cheap shameless plug in here. We're actually working on our annual 2014, which will be out in November, and we do one every year, and there's some really good stuff in there actually. Two things that I'm personally working on. One is an interview I did with Mike Tyson last week, which was really colourful and really enjoyed doing it. It's the thing I probably enjoyed writing the most this year, so that's coming up. And in the annual, we've got Mike Tyson's Life and Times through Boxing News, so there's sort of some old fight reports and some old interviews and stuff, which really sort of does give a really good breakdown on what Mike did in his time in boxing. And then the other thing I'm working on, which people who read the magazine and listen to the podcast will know all about, is I'm doing a recap on the week that was the one, so Mayweather Alvarez, and rather than speak to the fighters and the trainers about what happened, we're speaking to people behind the scenes. So your Kelly Swanson, your Richard Chafers, your Stephen Espinosa's, about how the promotion was run and what problems they faced and what was at stake, and spoken to some of the less known people at the MGM Grand and stuff behind it too. So that's also been enjoyable to write. So I'm finishing that now. In fact, we've got to go back and do the Richard Schaefer transcript now. So that's what I'm doing. It's a really busy time in the office, fighting on all fronts: magazine, print, apps, podcasts, website, social media, new t-shirt designs we're working on. So we're fighting on all fronts.
Yeah, done?
I'm done, yeah. Sorry, Shane.
That was the longest plug that's ever been on I from London, but you're more than entitled.
You're going to charge me for adverts now, aren't you?
Wonderful. Alright, Tris, thanks for talking to us.
Thanks,
so
Kugan.
look forward to catching up with you soon, and like I said, there's a massive run up to the end of the year, so let's hope it all delivers.
Where are you going this year? Where are you going? What
I haven't decided yet. I'm going to wait until certain dates have been confirmed and make a decision then.
Any trips abroad?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
1, 2, 3?
I don't know, it depends, because some of them are clashing on the same day.
So you might go Stuttgart,
Possibly.
might you?
Possibly. Contemplating. I can only really do, I'll be honest with you, I'll probably only do one. So there's like Canada, isn't there, as well? Stuttgart.
China?
There's China, there's Vegas, there's Brooklyn.
Good
There's
stuff.
my backyard.
Sport for choice. What, Brooklyn, your backyard?
Alright, KUGAN, CASSIUS, Dixon here for iFilm London. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.